So I welcome all the students again. In yesterday's chapter, we had discussed the character sketch of the astrologer, the look of the astrologer, and what the astrologer does for his livelihood. So he's like just like any another person who is working for his daily wages. Yet, if you look at the personality of this particular person, this astrologer, he is somehow a con artist. Okay, but at the end of the what you say first part, we come to know that like every other person, he also needs to fulfill his daily needs, and thus he is also similar to an honest man's labor. Okay, whatever work he's doing. So now let us start here. He had left his village without any previous thought or plan. If he had continued there, he would have carried on the work of his forefathers, namely tilling the land, living, marrying, and ripening in his cornfield and ancestral home. So we come to know that the this is like we have already discussed in the earlier lecture that Arkin novels or Arkin books are closely related with people who are common people. So, you know, the setting of this particular story is actually a village or a small town. Okay, so this person also is a common person, and he's saying that if he did not wish to become an astrologer, he would be still in his village. And what would he do? The same work that his forefathers did, that is working as a farmer. Okay, then living and marrying and then ripening in his cornfield and the ancestral home. He would be still living with his in his father's home, but that was not to be. He had to leave home without telling anyone, and he could not rest till he left it behind a couple of 100 miles. So he has came what do you say? He has come a very long, far away distance place to a new place that is far away. That is couple of 100 miles. That means he is very far away from his place now. To a villager, it is a great deal, as if an ocean flowered between. So he's saying that this is a very big thing. Means leaving all your need, what is it, things, your objects, your belongings at a different place and moving to a very far off place in search of what is say livelihood. So this was a very big thing, a great deal, a very big thing for a villager like him. So, as we progress, he had a working analysis of mankind's troubles, marriage, money, and the tangles of human ties. He's saying that he had done a rough analysis of how a human behaves, like doing marriage, then money related problems, money, working for money, and the tangles of human life. Tangles means the problems of human ties. Okay, long practice had sharpened his perception. Within 5 minutes, he understood what was wrong. Now we are talking about his profession. Now he had this particular, every time he was solving the same problems that were related with marriage, money, and the human type, that are bondage, bonds of family. So whatever problems people used to discuss with the astrologer, they were actually related to only these things, that are marriage, money, and tangles of human ties. Now he had become an expert. Okay, so every day if he's solving what is say many 30 to 40 cases, or he's what is it, telling people their future which is related with marriage, money, and human ties, that is family related problems, and any person would become a expert in this. So his practice, means such a long practice, has sharpened his perception, means he could understand that and he could give the relative answer to this. Now within 5 minutes he understood what was wrong. He charged 3 pies. He used to charge 3 pies per question. Now pies is actually a type of old Indian currency. Let me explain you in easy words. So if we understand this particular, see here, I have tried to tell you here, 1 anna is equal to 6.25 paise. Now this is that currency which was working in India before the pre-independence period. Okay, so in India this particular currency was working out that 1 anna is equal to actually it is 1/6 of a rupee. So this is 6.25 paise is equal to 1 anna. So 192 pies made 1 rupee. Now see, this is actually in India currently, means just a few years ago we had this paisa system in India. We had 50 paisa and 25 paisa, but before 5-6 years this currency has been totally thrown out of our Indian currency. So now we don't have any 50 paisa or 25 paisa coin. We see the lowest denomination that is in India is 1 rupee, and the highest is up to 2000 rupees. So it is in that particular way. if we understand 1 anna is equal to 6.25 paise, 192 pi is equal to 1 rupee, 4 paise is equal to 12 pi, and 1 paisa is equal to 3 pi. So this particular person used to charge 3 pi, that is approximately 1 paisa. If you have to understand even better, so after independence 100 paisa became 1 rupee. So understand that in that particular way. So how what do you say, how little he used to charge, but we cannot say it is little, as because it was approximately, you say, 30 to 40 years back. So that amount was also a very big amount. Okay, so he used to actually charge 3 pi per question, never opened his mouth till the other had spoken for at least 10 minutes. So you can see that an astrologer, he was a con artist. Okay, but he had his trick. He never spoke before 10 minutes. First he used to let his client speak for 10 minutes, and after that he used to start talking, which provided him enough stuff for a dozen answers and advices. So this was his trick. He never opened his mouth for the first 10 minutes till his client is speaking. Okay, and then he would open his mouth and give him answers and advices. When he told the person before him, gazing at his palm, in many ways you are not getting the fullest results of your efforts, 9 out of 10 were disposed to agree with him. So usually, if what do you say, we go to the astrologers if we have some problems, but if somebody is going to say that I know what your problem is, okay, and with a very lot of confidence, if he looks at your hand and he directly says to you, that you will agree with him. Okay, nobody likes to be told about their problems, they want a solution for that. So the people would directly get a solution from him, that out of 10 people, 9 people used to agree with him that in some or the other ways they are not getting the full results of their efforts. Okay, or he questioned, is there any woman in your family, maybe even a distant relative, who is not well disposed towards you? Now this is what do you say, kind of Indianness here, Indians behavior. We, as what do you say, when you were small, or when you are small like children, most of the times your elders might have been talking what do you say, among themselves, and they say that this or this particular relative is not happy with my progress, or this particular woman in this family is not happy with your progress. So he's basically, RK Narayan has, see, this is his wonderful way of using such subtle and easy language. Okay, as an astrologer, he's speaking that, is there any woman in your family, maybe a distant relative, who is not well disposed towards you, means he or she is not happy with your progress. And as Indian people know, it is an Indian mentality, we always have something to, what is it, related with this. Or he gave an analysis of character, most of your troubles are due to your nature. So this is also something the astrologers do to you. They play with your mind, they played the mind game. Okay, they're saying that because of your nature, okay, maybe you are too, what do you say, warm hearted, or because of your nature you are always hurt. So this is what he tries to tell his clients. And when you tell somebody that even if that particular person is not kind hearted, if you are kind hearted and it's because of your nature, things are not being done properly with you, that particular person will feel, yes, he's right, means somewhere this particular astrologer, he's speaking the truth. So how can you be otherwise with Saturn where he is? So now this Saturn is actually, if I speak in Hindi, Saturn is actually this Shani Graha. You are many of you are accompanied with this particular word. You know, okay, this particular word, that there is something known as the Sadesati in everybody's life, and all the problems are related to this Saturn. So this comes close to astrology again. Okay, so this particular astrologer, he had done his homework very well, so he knew people very well. That's why he could implicate or intricate their mind. Okay, you have an impetuous nature and a rough exterior. This is also a very famous line, that I know that you are not very bad, but from inside you are very nice. Okay, this endeared him to their hearts immediately, for even the mildest of us loves to think that he has a forbidding exterior. So this, some of the lines, if you have visited any astrologers, they have some lines already fixed. Okay, and they start showering your mind with these particular lines, and somewhere people start to believe that, yes, this particular astrologer knows everything about me, and whatever he will tell, that will be the truth. So this is the way the astrologer used to play with his clients and finally capture their minds. See here, the nut vendor blew out his flare and rose to go home. This was a signal for the astrologer to bundle up too, since it left him in darkness except for a little shaft of green light which strayed in from somewhere and touched the ground before him. Now, when to pack up, we know that in the afternoon, right? Correctly at midday, he opens his shop, okay, on the roads actually. And then when he goes home, when the nut vendor blew out his flare, we know that this particular astrologer, he does not have a light of his own, okay. He's sitting at a place where everybody has their lights, and he just, what do you say, in their light he works. Now when the nut vendor moves on, it is a signal for him that it's going to be dark, we don't have any light, and we should move now, okay. Then what do you say, he packed his things and he started to get up from there. He picked up his cowrie shells and paraphernalia. Now this paraphernalia is actually all the objects which belong to him, okay, and was putting them back into his bag when the green shaft of light was blotted out. So with the end of the green light, he started to move from there, okay. He looked up and saw a man standing before him. He sensed a possible client and said, "You look so careworn. It will do you good to sit down for a while and chat with me." So as he was going to just get up from there and go what if he straight away to his home, he saw a person who's standing right in front of him, and he's showing his hand to that particular person. And this was his chance. He said, "You are a client, and why are you so worried? Maybe you should sit down and have a chat with me. I'll help you out." So this is like an opportunity for the astrologer. So he's invited that particular what is a stranger to sit down and have chat with him. See, the other grumbled some reply vaguely. The astrologer pressed his invitation, whereupon the others thrust his palm under his nose, saying, "You call yourself an astrologer?" So he what you say, somehow he didn't, that particular person, that strange figure who was standing in front of him, he was not happy with his invitation. And suddenly the what is astrologer understood that this particular person, he's what is he is very grumpy, and he's very, what is he will not behave as the astrologer wants him to. And the astrologer thought that it is very wrong to invite this particular person, or it may create any problem for him. So he said that let it be. Instead of asking him, giving him the invitation, he started to get up. And suddenly that stranger, he just pushes his hand straight forward on his face and says that, "You call yourself an astrologer, okay?" The astrologer, yeah, see, the astrologer felt challenged and said, tilting the what is say other's palm towards the green shaft of light. Now there is no light left, there is only one small green light, and he says that, "Wait, let me see who," and he started to tilt his hand on the opposite direction towards the green light. "Yours is a nature." When the astrologer started to what to say try to convince his client, suddenly, "Oh, stop that," the other said. "Tell me something worthwhile." So this particular person, he's not going to be fooled by the astrologer's sweet talks. He says that, "You stop that, don't tell me anything about that." And he stops him, okay. Our friend felt piqued. So our friend felt piqued. Piqued means he felt what is it, restless. He was angry, okay. Okay, "I charge only 3 pies per question, and what do you get ought to be good enough for your money." So this is what this particular what do you say uh, astrologer is saying to that particular person: "I will only answer you, but I charge 3 pies per question." Okay, so at this, the other withdrew his arm, took out an anna, and flung it out to him, saying, "I have some question to ask. If I prove you are bluffing, you must return that anna to me with interest." Now, this particular stranger, that strange figure, is saying to him that, "I will pay you 1 anna directly." Okay, so we have already see how that currency works. Okay, if you give me the right answer, you can have the anna. But if you do not give me the answer, and if you're bluffing, that means you're trying to just fool me, you must return me the anna with interest on it. So this was a deal. What do you say, this particular stranger was giving to this astrologer. Okay, let us see next. So as we proceed here, "I have some question to ask. If I prove you're bluffing, you must return that Anna to me with interest. This is what the stranger said to the astrologer. If you find my answer satisfactory, will you give me 5 rupees? This is what the astrologer is bargaining with him. See, instead of your Anna, if I'll answer you properly, and if you find my answer satisfactory, will you give me 5 rupees? This is what the astrologer is asking him. He says no. Okay, or will you give me 8 annas? Now the astrologer knows that this particular person is desperate to show his hand and he wants to know his future or what is going to happen. So he will charge him something. Okay, he will give him some. So he's in the beginning only, as we know that this particular astrologer is a very smart person. So using his smartness, he's saying, will you give me 5 rupees? He says no. Okay, then give me 8 annas. Okay, so that particular person says, all right, provided you give me twice as much if you are wrong, said the stranger. This pact was accepted after a little further argument. So after a lot of argument between the astrologer and the stranger, finally they came to a decision that if the astrologer gives him satisfactory answers, he has to give him 8 annas. So astrologer has accepted his particular challenge, and let us see. He says a few prayers to the heaven as the others lit a chariot. Now this particular chariot is a small type of cigar. Okay. Okay, so now see here, the astrologer caught a glimpse of his face by the matchlight. The astrologer wanted to see this particular person's face because it was what is a real dark there, only some green light was there. So when he what you say lit a small matchlight, he saw just a glimpse of his face. There was a pause as cars hooted on the road, Tutka drivers swore at their horses, and the babble of the crowd agitated the semi-darkness of the park. Okay, so there was a pause of cars hooted on the road. Okay, there was a small pause because it was very late now, and Chutka is actually a small horse cart. Okay, horse driven carts. The babble of the crowd agitated the semi darkness of the park. Means the crowd also, which was talking their whole day, suddenly they also started to disappear. Okay, the other sat down, sucking his cheroot, puffing out, sat there ruthlessly. Now this particular stranger, okay, the stranger is ruthless, he's very angry, he's restless, and he's just sitting there wondering what this astrologer is going to say. The astrologer said that the astrologer felt very uncomfortable. Suddenly the astrologer felt that he's what do you say in some kind of problem, and he's trying to feel, he felt little uncomfortable with the stranger. Here, take your Anna back. I am not used to such challenges. It is late for me today. He made preparations to bundle up. The other held his wrist and said, you can't get out of it now. So now this is actually what is a twist in this particular story, that the astrologer usually he wants people to come to him and ask him his problems and he could take some money from them. But after seeing that face of the particular person, maybe the astrologer is very uncomfortable with him. Now he knows that this particular person, maybe he's a robber, maybe he's a thug, maybe he's going to take his money, or maybe somebody just came to loot him, okay, or play with him. It can be anything. Play with him means play to take away his money, okay. So the astrologer did not want to work for this particular person. He just wanted to move up from there. But suddenly that particular person hold his wrist tightly and he said to him, you can't get out of it now. Now Sierra, you dragged me in while I was passing. The astrologer shivered in his grip and his voice shook and became faint. Now, what is this? The astrologer's answer is that he says that leave me today. Now the astrologer has completely what do you say? He start to shiver now. He's frightened of this particular person. Now he's he has a little understanding that this particular person is 100% a thug or a loot who's going to take away his money. And he's saying that I will not tell you any answer today. Leave me today. Tomorrow I'll come definitely and I'll tell you your answer. I will speak to you tomorrow. This is what the answer came from the astrologer as he was shivering and he was already uncomfortable with this particular person. Now, when the astrologer said that I will speak to you tomorrow, I'll come tomorrow, he's saying that that particular stranger said that I was just passing from here. You showed me, you called me, you gave me the invitation of where you're going. So the astrologer is frightened now and he's saying that I will go, I'll come tomorrow, but I'll come and answer you. Okay, see ya. The other thrust his palm in his face and said, challenge is a challenge, go on. The astrologer proceeded with his throat drying up. There is a woman. that strange particular person is saying to the astrologer, challenge is a challenge, go on. Okay, now the astrologer is actually very frightened about this person. Now all of us know what if, when we are frightened or we are scared of something, our throat suddenly tries to dry up. The same thing is happening with the astrologer. His throat has trying to dry up. There is a woman. Now the astrologer thought, now it is a challenge, and now if I will not answer, nobody knows what this particular stranger is going to do with him. If I don't answer him, if he gets angry, if he kills me, if he strangles me, if he loots and takes away my money, what should I do? So he says that let's try to con this particular person. So he begins saying, there is a woman, and suddenly the person says, stop. Said the other, I don't want all that. Shall I succeed in my present search or not? This is the question he asked to that particular astrologer. Astrologer said, is there a woman? So the person says, stop. I don't want those things. I know what you're trying to do with my mind. I know you don't want to answer my questions. So you're trying to play with my mind by asking me a different question. So he says that you just answer me one thing. Shall I succeed in my present search or not? So that particular stranger just wants one answer. Shall I succeed in my present search or not? You have to answer this question, you can go. Otherwise, I will not let you till you discharge all your coins. He says that if you don't answer me, I'm going to take away all your coins till you give it to me, and then you can go. The astrologer muttered a few incantations and replied, all right, I will speak. But will you give me a rupee if what I say is convincing? Otherwise, I will not open my mouth, and you may do whatever you like. After a good deal of haggling, the other agreed. The astrologer said, you were left dead, am I right? Okay, so here we see that the astrologer knew now there is what is no going back now. Either I answer this particular person or I don't answer him. This is what he made a deal, is that you give me a rupee for whatever I'm going to speak with you right now, or I'm not going to say even a single word from my mouth. You can do whatever you want. If you want to take my money, you can take away my money. The astrologer was damn sure that something was going to happen, so he also thought that let's play along the road. Maybe something will happen, maybe he'll be able to somehow convince that particular person. So he said, you were left for dead, am I right? So finally the astrologer said something, and it was, you were left for dead, am I right? This is the question, and he says, tell me more. So this tell me more is actually a person, or what is it, a sigh of relief from that particular person. And he says, finally the astrologer is speaking something which makes sense. A knife has passed through you once, said the astrologer. Good fellow, he bared his chest to show the scar. What else? Now the astrologer, we understand that now the astrologer really has some kind of study over all these things, and he's trying to, what is say, convince that particular persons, and one after the other the sentence come to be true. And the particular fellow, that particular stranger, says that yes, you are right, that I was left to be dead, dead. Somebody attacked me, a knife had passed my chest. See, the scar is there on my chest. What else? So he wanted to know what else did this particular astrologer knew. So finally the astrologer's words were actually turning out to be true. And then he said, and then you were pushed into a well nearby in the field, and you were left for dead. Now with the final sentence out of the astrologer's mouth, this particular person came to know, yes, maybe this astrologer has some kind of power. I should have been dead if some passerby had not chanced to peep into the well, exclaimed the other, overwhelmed by enthusiasm. Now he also has started to feel the same thing, like we, that us, the readers, are also feeling the same thing. Yes, the astrologer is not just playing his part, but he actually has some knowledge, because he knows so many things of the stranger. Okay, when shall I get at him? He asked, clenching his fist. Clenching his fist means he made a fist of his hand, and he's saying that, do you know where he lives, or do you know anything else about it? Can you see my future? And he's very happy and overwhelmed. Okay, when shall I get at him? He asked, clenching his fist. In the next world, answered the astrologer. So, this is the answer that the astrologer gave to him. In the next world, that means he has passed away, he's died. He died 4 months ago in a far off town. You will never see any more of him. The other groaned on hearing it, and the astrologer proceeded, Guru Nayak. So, this is the twist of the story. Suddenly, the astrologer, which we as readers thought that he's a useless person, he's just conning the people, he's just thugging the people and taking their money. Suddenly, this astrologer has some strange powers and he knows the future of this particular stranger. He even knows his name. So, this particular, what do you say, incident where he takes the name of that stranger, Guru Nayak. Okay, so he told so many things about the person that Guru Nayak is searching for his dead. He's dead 4 months ago. Okay, and that also a very far off distant place, and he was not going to see any of him. And suddenly the astrologer says, Guru Nayak, you know my name. The other said, taken aback. Now Guru Nayak means that particular strange person also thinks that yes, this astrologer has some kind of strange powers. Nobody knows my name, but the astrologer knows my name. So this is what like a surprise for him. Okay, and he's taken aback. As I know all other things, Guru Nayak, listen carefully to what I have to say. Your village is 2 days journey due north of this town. Take the next train and be gone. I see once again great danger to your life if you go from home. So what is this particular astrologer is saying to him? Now think, what you say, listen carefully what I'm going to tell you. Your village, what to say, if you have to travel to your village, go towards north, and after 2 days you will reach your town. Take the next train and be gone, means take the next train and go away from there. Don't be, what do you say, don't stay there. Okay, don't stay here, go somewhere else. I see once again great danger to your life in if you go from home. So he's saying that I think you should just go away, you should not stay here, just leave as quick as you can. Okay, he took out a pinch of sacred ash and held it to him. Rub it on your forehead and go home. Never travel southward again and you will live to be 100. So this particular person is saying that this particular astrologer is actually giving him advice that I see danger in your life again if you go home. So I tell you, go back from wherever you came and don't come southward. Okay, so this particular whichever direction the astrologer is, he's actually sending this particular strange person, that is Guru Nayak, in the opposite direction. So try to understand this particular point. So the star is actually the place where the astrologer is. He's saying him that your village from here is north towards the north direction. 2 days you will reach your home. But I don't want you to go home. Go in the southward direction. Means wherever the astrologer is, go in the southward direction and don't travel southward again. Means don't come back where you were, okay, where you are right now, and you will live for 100 years. So this is what the astrologer has advised him. Now this is kind of a joke. Okay, he's saying him don't go home but go in the opposite direction. So now see here, this particular person says, why should I leave home again? The stranger is asking him, why should I leave my home again when I want to go here? Okay, so why should I leave home again? The other said reflectively, I was only going away now and then to look for him and to choke out his life if I met him. So this particular person is asking the astrologer, Guru Nayak is actually asking the astrologer, why should I travel away from my home when I'm very close to my, what you say, desire of killing that particular person? If I find him, I'm going to kill him. He shook his head regretfully. He has escaped my hands. I hope at least he died as he deserved. Yes, said the astrologer. He was crushed under a lorry. The other looked gratified to hear that. So when Guru, what do you say, Nayak come to know about this particular thing, that this particular person who tried to kill him, he also got killed. He was actually gratified. Means he was somewhat, he was not happy, I can say, but he was satisfied with his answer. He said that if I would get that particular person, I would choke him out. Means I would press his neck, I would break his neck and kill him. So the astrologer said that even if he has escaped your hands, he was crushed under a lorry and he died. Okay, the place was deserted by the time the astrologer picked up his articles and put them into his bag. The green shaft was also gone, leaving the place in darkness and silence. The stranger had gone off into the night after giving the astrologer a handful of coins. Now we come to know that after that particular strange person, he got his answer from the astrologer. He takes, what he say, he moves away in the darkness, he just vanishes, and then he gives the astrologer a handful of coins. See here, it was nearly midnight when the astrologer reached home. His wife was waiting for him at the door and demanded an explanation. Just a common Indian, what do you say, mentality of when people are very far away or people don't respond at homes. Usually, their wives ask them different questions. Not only their wives, but your parents. Maybe when you are very, what do you say, for a lot of time you are outside your home, and without informing you are out, your parents usually wait for you. In the same way, his wife is waiting at the door for him and she's demanding an explanation. Why are you so late today? What made you so late? He flung the coins at her and said, count them. One man gave all that. So suddenly he knew how to, what do you say, convince his wife. So he took all the coins from his pocket and he threw it on her and said that just count them. One particular person gave me 12 and a half annas, she said, counting. She was overjoyed. I can buy some jaggery and coconut tomorrow. The child has been asking for sweets for so many days now. I will prepare some nice stuff for her. Now this particular stranger had promised him some different type of money, okay, a lot of money, but he is only given him 12 and a half annas, okay. And she was overjoyed and she said, now I can buy some jaggery, some coconut. The child also wants some types of sweets, so I could buy her some sweets. He says that the astrologer, the swine has cheated me. He promised me a rupee, said the astrologer. She looked up at him. You look worried. What is wrong? That swine is actually that strange person. Guru Nayak is that strange person who came to the astrologer, and he has also cheated him. Cheated him means for giving all the answer. They had, what do you say, promised a different deal, but he's only given him some of the deal. So he's very angry. He said that he was going to give me a rupee, but he's only given me 12 and a half annas. So he's very angry. So his wife looks at him. You look worried. She asks, are you, what to say, worried? Is there any tension? What is wrong? And he does not answer to her. Particular person's astrologist's wife asks, do you have any question? Are you in, what is some kind of problem? He says nothing, okay. After dinner, sitting at the pile, he told her, do you know a great load is gone from me today? I thought I had the blood of a man on my hands all these years. That was the reason why I ran away from home, settled here, and married you. He is alive. Now, this is the climax of our story. After dinner, he's sitting at the pal. It's a small kind of cot, okay, string cot. In the villages, you can see them, they're common there, okay. He told his wife that, do you know how a great load is gone from me today? He's telling his wife that, do you know what happened with me today? I was in very lot of tension from so many years. Do you know, want to know what happened? I thought I had the blood of a man on my hands all these years. So he is now opening up those secrets which neither the readers, as readers, we knew or anybody else knew. And his wife is also in shock like we are, that this particular astrologer tried to kill somebody many years ago, okay. That was the reason why I ran away from home. So this is the reason he ran away from home, okay. He ran away from his home because he tried to murder somebody, he tried to kill somebody. He settled here and married you, means the wife, and he is alive. Suddenly we come to know, all of us come to know that the person whose hand the astrologer was speaking in, the person about whom the astrologer was so sure that he knew everything, is actually that person the astrologer tried to kill many years ago. And because of him, because of that thought in his mind that because of him somebody died, he had murdered somebody, he ran away from his village, he married a strange woman, and today suddenly after so many years that particular person is in front of him. She gasped, you tried to kill him? Now she's also in shock like we are, that the astrologer would kill anybody. But yes, she asked him, you tried to kill him? Yes, in our village when I was a silly youngster. We drank, gambled, and quarreled badly one day. Why think of it now? Time to sleep. So this particular astrologer is actually, he tried to murder somebody, he tried to kill somebody. After years, that particular person was standing in front of him, and again, because of his smartness, because of his, what to say, nature, he has actually fooled that particular person. He saved himself, okay. Yes, in our village, he says that when I was young, okay, when we are young, we do many mistakes. So he used to drink, used to gamble, and he used to fight. And because of this fight, one day he tried to kill somebody. But he does not want to think about it now. He's saying it is time to sleep. He said, yawning and stretched himself on the pile. So this is the beauty, or this is the power of arcane ira, and that while we read the entire story, we did not know what's going to happen till the end. In these last two paragraphs, we came to know that the person, that astrologer, the person's hand which astrologer was looking was actually that person who the astrologer wanted to kill. He had stabbed him, he tried to murder him, but suddenly he saw that particular person in front of him. He was alive, but he did not get scared of that. Instead of that, he played like he didn't knew the person, and somehow he fooled that particular person once again, and he saved his life. So this is how this particular chapter ends with a twist.